Hey Bulls fans, welcome back to the channel. In today's video, we're diving into the latest free agency rumors involving DeMar DeRozan. Could a sign and trade to the Clippers be on the horizon following Paul George's exit? We'll break down the potential trade details, how this move could impact both the Bulls and the Clippers, and what it means for Chicago's future. Join us as we explore all the angles and keep you updated on the latest Bulls news. Hit that subscribe button and stay tuned for all the latest updates. Welcome to Chicago Bulls News, your go-to source for the latest updates on the Windy City's favorite team. We've got you covered with breaking news, trade rumors, and in-depth analysis of everything Bulls. From United Center to the front office, we're bringing you the inside scoop. Hit subscribe and let's talk Bulls basketball. First up, let's talk about the potential DeMar DeRozan sign and trade to the LA Clippers. This rumor really started picking up steam over the last few days, ever since Paul George decided to opt out of the final year of his contract with the Clippers. PG-13 shocked the NBA world by turning down that $48 million player option, making him an unrestricted free agent this summer. Now, the Clippers find themselves in a precarious position. They've lost their co-star alongside Kawhi Leonard, and they need to figure out how to retool their roster and keep Kawhi happy. Enter DeMar DeRozan. The veteran scorer just had another phenomenal season with the Chicago Bulls, averaging over 24 points, 5 rebounds, and 5 assists per game. He's coming off an all-star campaign and proved he's still got plenty left in the tank at 33 years old. Reports have indicated that the Clippers are very interested in potentially acquiring DeRozan via a sign and trade deal with the Bulls. This would allow DeRozan to get the long-term contract he's likely seeking, while also giving the Clippers a proven scoring threat to pair with Kawhi. From the Bulls' perspective, this could be an opportunity to get great value in return for DeRozan, rather than potentially losing him for nothing in free agency. Chicago has a number of other free agents to worry about this summer, including Zach LaVine, so moving DeRozan in the right deal could help them reshape their roster. Of course, the details of any potential sign and trade would be crucial. The Clippers don't have a ton of valuable trade assets outside of their young core players like Brandon Boston Jr. and Norman Powell. They may have to get creative, potentially involving a third team, to put together an enticing enough package to convince the Bulls to part with DeRozan. It's also worth noting that DeRozan has a player option for next season worth around $27 million. So the Clippers would likely need to convince him to opt out and sign a new long-term deal with them as part of the sign and trade. That's not a guarantee, as DeRozan may prefer the security of that player option. Overall, this feels like a logical fit in theory. The Clippers need scoring and playmaking to complement Kawhi, and DeRozan provides that in spades. The Bulls, meanwhile, may see this as their best chance to maximize the value of DeRozan before potentially losing him for nothing. But there are still plenty of hurdles to clear before we see this deal come to fruition. Speaking of the Bulls, let's shift our focus to the rest of their free agency plans this summer. Beyond the DeRozan situation, Chicago has a ton of other key decisions to make regarding their roster. The biggest one, of course, is the future of Zach LaVine. The all-star guard is set to hit unrestricted free agency, and he's widely expected to garner a max contract offer from multiple teams. The Bulls have made it clear they want to keep LaVine, but retaining him won't be easy. There are rumblings that the LA Lakers could make a strong push to sign LaVine away from the Bulls. LeBron James and company clearly need to add more scoring punch and star power to their roster after a disappointing season. LaVine would be an ideal fit alongside LeBron and Anthony Davis. Of course, the Bulls will do everything in their power to keep LaVine in Chicago. They've built a strong young core around him and DeMar DeRozan, and losing their superstar two-way guard would be a massive blow. But LaVine will have plenty of suitors offering him the max, so the Bulls may have to get creative to retain him. One potential way they could do that is by figuring out a sign and trade deal involving DeRozan. If they can net some valuable assets in a DeRozan trade, that could help convince LaVine to stay put and continue building something special in the Windy City. Beyond LaVine, the Bulls have a number of other key free agents to address. Veteran point guard Lonzo Ball is an unrestricted free agent, and he's shown he can be a great complementary piece next to LaVine and DeRozan. Retaining Ball should be a priority for Chicago. The same goes for reserve big man Andre Drummond. He was a valuable contributor off the bench last season, providing toughness, rebounding, and interior defense. Drummond may command more money than the Bulls are willing to spend, but he's a free agent they'd love to bring back if the price is right. And let's not forget about Alex Caruso. The defensive-minded guard was a revelation for the Bulls last season, quickly becoming a fan favorite with his hustle and energy. Keeping Caruso in the fold will be crucial for maintaining the team's identity and culture. So in summary, the Bulls have a ton of work to do this offseason. Zach LaVine is the top priority, but they also need to figure out the futures of DeRozan, Lonzo Ball, Andre Drummond, Alex Caruso, and a few other key role players. It's going to be a delicate balancing act for new team president Arturas Karnisovas and the front office. Now, let's dive a little deeper into the potential DeMar DeRozan sign and trade to the Clippers and how it could impact the rest of the NBA landscape. As I mentioned earlier, the Clippers find themselves in a tough spot after Paul George's surprise decision to opt out of his contract. PG-13 is now an unrestricted free agent, leaving a gaping hole in the Clippers roster alongside Kawhi Leonard. The prevailing thought is that George will ultimately re-sign with the Clippers on a new long-term deal. But his decision to opt out has created some uncertainty, and the Clippers need to have a contingency plan in place in case he does end up leaving. Enter DeMar DeRozan. The veteran scorer would provide the Clippers with an immediate replacement for George's production and give them another proven star to pair with Kawhi. DeRozan's ability to create his own shot and score in isolation would be a great complement to Kawhi's game. From the Clippers' perspective, acquiring DeRozan in a sign and trade could be their best path forward if they do ultimately lose Paul George. They don't have a ton of valuable trade assets, so getting creative with a multi-team deal may be necessary. But adding DeRozan would keep them firmly in the championship contender conversation. Of course, the impact of this potential move would extend far beyond just the Clippers. It would have major ripple effects across the entire NBA landscape. For starters, it would dramatically shift the balance of power in the Western Conference. The Clippers would instantly become one of the top title favorites, with a dynamic duo of Kawhi and DeRozan leading the way. That would put even more pressure on the other top contenders in the West, like the Warriors, Suns, Mavericks, and maybe even the Lakers if they can't lure Zach LaVine. It would also significantly impact the Eastern Conference, particularly the Chicago Bulls. Losing DeRozan would be a huge blow to their playoff aspirations next season. They'd be left to rebuild around Zach LaVine, whatever they could get in a sign and trade, and a supporting cast that may look quite different. There's also the domino effect this could have on the rest of free agency. If the Clippers land DeRozan, it may impact where other top free agents like Kyrie Irving, James Harden, and Zach LaVine ultimately end up. Teams may be more or less aggressive in pursuing certain players depending on how the Clippers' offseason plays out. And let's not forget about the potential impact on the Clippers' own roster and future. Bringing in DeRozan would likely mean parting with some combination of their young assets, draft picks, and veteran role players. That could hamper their depth and flexibility going forward, even if it makes them a more formidable team in the short term. That's the end of today's video. I will see you guys in the next video. If you liked the video, please make sure to subscribe to the channel for more upcoming videos.